Good morning. As you can see, I'm outside. I got up early this morning to get ahead of the sun, which is going to catch me pretty soon. Uh, a few months ago, a man showed up at my front gate. He's the husband of somebody uh, in the neighborhood. He's a neighbor. And I'd met him once with his wife. A husband shows up at my front gate. I go, even at my age, this is trouble I don't need. But it turns out that his wife had said to him, "Oh, you know, Carol is a writer." And he wanted to talk about writing because he said he always wanted to write his story. He wanted to write. And, I always encourage people to write. I really do because I think it resettles you in a way. The way we think and the way we express ourselves verbally are very, very different than the way we write, unfortunately. It would be so much easier if I could just write the way I speak. But that's not the way it goes. And writing is, I mean, right after you learn how to speak as a child, you learn how to write. So it's familiar to us to write. And, in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word. But there's a huge leap between telling somebody a story verbally and writing it down. Huge. And I tried to warn them. I do right. Try and warn people. You are going to be spending a little bit of time with yourself, and hopefully you're comfortable with this. And most people are not. Fortunately for me and other people who are professional writers, most people can't stand it. They can't stand being by themselves with their words and with their thoughts. We like to keep busy. And he's a very, very talkative guy. Anyway, he did tell me some of his stories, and I said, I think you're right. You ought to write these stories. He said, he has an expression, short story, long story short, long story short, and then he tells a long story. Anyway, of course, I chatted with him and I told him there were things he could do, but he's not computer savvy. He doesn't type. He's going to handwrite it. Now, a lot of professional writers do handwrite their work. And if you're most familiar with that, if you keep a journal already, you got one leg up already on the first step to deciding about writing a book or a memoir. He had good stories about his life, and I thought, this guy's funny, and if he can capture this, he probably is going to find a publisher, or he can self-publish it. There's always, if you self-publish, unless you have a large network, you're not going to sell more than a couple of hundred copies of your book to your friends, which is not a bad thing. Also, he's probably in his 70s or 80s. He has stories he'd like to leave behind. So I did encourage him, and I told him about artificial intelligence, that he could use that. At any rate, long story short, to use his expression, I'm coming home from walking the dog yesterday around 3 in the afternoon, and I see him coming towards me. They don't live here. They visit, and of course, this is the end of the July, the first weekend of July holiday in the States. And I go, oh no, I'm tired, and oh gosh, and he's got like a little clipboard with him with pages. But I say, oh yeah, yeah, come on in, coming out of the sun. And he says he's been writing, and I go, that's amazing. Because I can't tell you how many people say to me, I'm going to write, and never do. Even people that were taking classes with me, and my classes were very structured with prompts and really easy, and we would meet and read our stories, parts of our stories, weekly. And he has a clipboard of handwritten pages, and we talk about it, and he wants me to read them, and I go, oh no, I can't read your handwritten pages. And he said, well, I can leave it with you. I said, you cannot leave your original manuscript with me, a stranger. You can't do this. What if something happens to it? So it was very sweet. It was very, very sweet that he wanted to do that. And at the same time, it was also, what if, I spilled a cup of coffee on it? I mean, come on. So I said to him, listen, there's artificial intelligence. You can dictate this. This is your message to you today. If you've been thinking about writing, you can dictate your story to artificial intelligence, and it will type it out for you. And when you can put it in a file. If you don't have a computer and you can't print it out, you can put it in a flash drive and take it to a print shop and print it. Or you can send a copy of it to me. Uh, you can send it as a text, or I would prefer it goes to my email. And he said he would do that. And I spoke to my iPad. I said, so I wanted to show him. I said, information about artificial intelligence, dictation, Claude or chat. And it came back, and I saw his expression that I was talking to a machine. I remember the first time I saw a friend talk to her phone, like dictate to her phone a text. I went, ooh, she's talking to a machine. And popped up, and I showed him how to do it, and he wrote it down, and that he can do it on his phone. So I want to encourage those of you who want to write, um, don't start your story with "I was born." Okay, that's my tip for you if you're going to write. Don't start with "I was born," or "I first arrived." Don't start at the beginning of your life. Start at the moment that changed you in some way. That's my advice to you. The moment that happened that changed you in some way. Don't worry about your grammar. I'm terrible at it, and I always have to go through two different editing services online to correct it. And there's always going to be typos. Always. It's like the gremlins. You put your manuscript to bed, or you post it, and you look, oh. Yeah, start now. And don't worry about whether you're writing with a pen or a pencil on a paper, or it's lined or it's unlined. Don't worry. Because writing lasts. It lasts more than these videos. These videos will disappear one day. Maybe one day soon, who knows? But the words that you've written down, they stay. Whether you print them out or you show them to me, they are there. And they are an impression of what you saw and what was your reaction to it.